Hey guys, it's Than, and Julie got the privilege of giving you guys a Christmas video, so I'm gonna give you a New Year's video. I'm a little bit late because it's the 2nd of January, but I wasn't planning on actually doing this video, but I was able to hang out with my friend yesterday, and we found out that there was a draft at our local game store. So I decided to go, and I had a blast. So let me tell you about the draft. It was a pick your poison draft, basically anything in standard. So it was kind of a little bit chaotic, but I had a very, very fun time doing it. So let me just show you my deck. But first of all, let me show you my pack 1 pick 1 was a shiny Ice Vault Regent, which is excellent because Julie and I have a cycle cube, and this is obviously the Regent cycle from Dragons of Tarkir. And I actually got a pre-release foil that I have in that cycle cube. I took that away from my all-flying commander deck. So now I have another shiny one I can put him back in. But outside of it being a very, very shiny and pretty card, it's an excellent, excellent bomb. 5 mana, 4/3 flyer. It taps down a creature when it comes into play, and that creature stays tapped. Well, more specifically, it doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control the Icefall region. Also, if you want to target, if your opponent wants to target this thing with a spell, you got to pay 2 more. Anyways, that was my pack 1, pick 1. I think after that I ended up picking some sort of a counter spell. And then I kind of went into basically blue-black control. Now, I did really well. Oh, one more thing I should probably say is I got these 2 packs, which I'm going to be cracking after I talk about this deck. So stay tuned for that. We'll see what we get. So I actually did a lot better than I thought I was going to do. I picked up 13 creatures and 10 spells. It was a very, very fun deck. I picked up a ton of removal and just some good creatures, and I went to the 3rd round completely undefeated, hadn't even lost one single game. But unfortunately, the guy I played against had a really strong Selesnya green-white deck. They just put out a lot of creatures, and I couldn't remove them, and I kind of got some bad draws, and in all honesty, I probably should have mulliganed my last hand. But I lost 2-1 in that last round. So I got 2nd place, I believe, or I might have tied for 1st, I'm not sure. But I got 2 packs, I got a cool promo. But let's look at my deck. So we got a Mist Intruder, which is just a good flyer. I tried to prioritize picking some flyers. Karsai Sadist, which I remember picking him. He's a 1/3 for 2. And he has exploit, and if you exploit the creature, either you sack this creature or another creature you control, and when he enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So you drain 2 from him. And this guy was actually much better than I thought. Like, remembering that I can actually exploit himself, there are some good times where I was just like, okay, 2 mana, you lose 2 life, I gain 2 life. It was great. I also got this Rang River Skeleton, which is a regenerate creature. That kind of kept me alive. That really helped with the deck, because as you're going to see, a lot of the really good stuff in the deck are some expensive flyers. And so it was really great to have this guy to just keep me alive for a long time, just keep regenerating him. Palace Familiar is great. I mean, I think it's a Jeskai student, which is basically the same thing as this, except it doesn't fly. I was able to get in a couple games. I was able to get in 3 or 4 hits with this guy before they got a flyer. So, and then I just chumped with it and drew a card. So that was fantastic. Nantuko Husk. Unfortunately, I didn't draft too many creatures, so I didn't use Nantuko Husk all that well. But he was a good 2/2. He's a good dude. Water Courser, I didn't see too much of, but when I did, he was actually quite good. I remember him being good from Origins draft, so I drafted him. Updraft Elemental is actually a pretty good blocker, but I got some damage in with it as well. Merc Strider. This is actually really, really good. No spoilers for the rest of my spells in the deck, but I was actually able to use his processing ability. So if you process, you're able to bounce a creature back to their hand. And so oftentimes, what this really means is that you're getting a 3/2 and they're losing a creature. And it's a huge tempo play because there are times where, I would have, even just like in Nantuko Husk, and they would have 1 blocker, and I'd just be like, okay, Merc Strider, bounce back your dude, get in some more damage. You just set them back a turn, and I was actually going pretty aggro with these creatures, especially the flyers. This Night Watch, I didn't put into the original deck. But later I found it was much better to have extra creatures, and also one of the reasons I didn't do that is that Karsai Sadist is the only way I'm gaining life in this deck, and this guy gains flying when you gain life. But I'm like, I'm never gonna gain flying, so whatever. But I realized that, man, a 4/5 is just a good card. I don't want to say in this format because it was a chaos draft, basically, just a standard chaos draft. But a 4/5 was pretty good, so I put him in my deck and I kept him in there. Um, and then, of course, as you know, the Icefall Regent, which was just awesome. Just tap down their stuff, swinging in. It was really, really great. Ruthless Deathfang was actually a really good card for me. Again, a nice 4/4 flyer. The second ability I didn't really focus on too much when I was drafting. I just picked him because he was a good flyer, but because I have the Karsai Sadist and I also have some other sack outlets in the deck, there was a time where I would be just plopping him out and just sacking my dudes. They had to sack, and I just kept on hitting in with the flyers, and it was a really good card. I would say Acid Spirit Dragon was great, but I literally never saw him in any of the games I played. Out of the 7 games I played, I did not see the Acid Spirit Dragon, so that's kind of sad. And my last creature is a Necropolis Fiend, which I was able to blow somebody out with. So it's a 4/5 flyer. It's got Delve. It costs 9 mana, but you're able to play it pretty quickly. And there was a time where I was at so my opponent was at 3 life and I was at 5 life, and he had a huge board. I had Necropolis Fiend out, and I had mana open, and I had a card in my bin. 1 mana open and 1 card in my bin. And he swings at me with a 2/3 flyer, a piker, 2/1, and 2 other 2/2s. So 7's coming at me. Wait, no. 8 is coming at me. And he's like, swing in for the win. And I'm just like, okay, Necropolis Fiend, block your flyer. Before damage, tap 1, use his ability to tap 1, tap and exile 1 card from my graveyard, and give his Leaf Gilder, which is the 2/1, -1/-1 until the end of turn. That killed him, and I killed his flyer, and he deals 4 damage to me. I'm at 1, and he just looks at the board and he's just like, yep, game 2. I'm like, yeah. So this is actually, Necropolis Fiend was way good. I didn't really use that last ability too much because oftentimes I was actually exiling most of my graveyard to cast him, but he still was very, very good. Into my spells, we got a Vampiric Rites, which was one of my sack outlets, which is, I actually, when I was playing Magic the Gathering online, I drafted this, and it is so much value. Especially if your opponent is like blowing up your stuff with burn spells. It's just like, okay, my creature's gonna die anyways, pay 2 mana, draw a card, gain a life. And that made me outrace my opponent and out card advantage. There was one specific game on Mitgo where they basically blew their entire hand on removal spells. And every single time they did that, I was able to use this. So at the end of the day, they had 2 creatures, no cards in hand, and I had a group of 4. And really good value, so I took this pretty early on. Like I said, it really worked well with my Ruthless Deathfang. One time I was able to have Ruthless Deathfang out and also my Palace Familiar. So I was able to pay 2, sack the Palace Familiar, draw 2 cards, gain a life, and they had to sack a creature. And it was just, this actually provided so much value to me. And I think that if I ever draft anything with BFZ, I'm going to take Vampiric Rites very, very highly. Rush of Ice was really, really good. I only cast this once for just the 1 mana. I usually cast it for the Awaken. Because I have so much removal in this deck, I was able to just kind of slow roll my opponent and just kill stuff and keep things down under wraps. And then I could just, freeze their stuff and get a dude out of it. It was really, really good. And Rush of Ice was actually very useful. Again, if I was beating in with my flyers and they put out a flyer in response, I'm just like, okay, Rush of Ice, swing in. And it was really, really good. Starting getting into the removal, we got a Defeat, which was really good. Horribly Awry, which is counter target creature spell with 4 or less. Exile that helped with the Merc Strider. Complete Disregard also helped with that as well. Another good removal spell. Spell Shrivel, awesome. I was able to grab 2 Flattens, and I was able to also grab a Void Squall, which is bounce a non-land permanent, and it has Rebound. That's pretty good. And then my last card, which is super fun, was Illusionary Gains. And so I was able to. It's a mind control. However, the only downside I found out after playing it that it's not a May ability. The second ability is whenever an opponent plays another creature, you attach illusionary gains to that and you gain control of that. And I thought it was a May ability, but no, it's mandatory. But even so, it's still such a good plan. Like, I take their good thing. If they got another creature, I'll just take that and use it as a chump. If they don't have another creature, then yeah. And also sometimes illusionary gains wasn't really a gain control of your creature. It was mainly just gain control of your blocker, swing in for more damage. And so I actually was able to go pretty, I wouldn't say aggro because it took me a really long time to set up, but just kill all your stuff, get out some big flyers, and then just afterwards just take all your stuff and kill all your stuff and just keep beating in. And so that's why I was really able to pull through. It just had so much removal in the deck. It was really, really great. So before I go to the 2-pack openings, I also bought some cards. Julie set me at a $5 limit because she understands. But I was able to get some pretty good deals. I was able to get 3 Spectral Processions, so I don't need any more for my Soul Sisters deck. Most of that is still in proxy, but yeah. I was able to get 4 Blight Mambas and 2 Glistener Elves, so I'm actually getting really close to actually collecting the entire cards that I need for Infect, with the exception of the Inkmoth Nexuses, because those are $20 a piece. I was able to get 4 Aura Gnarlids because I want to make a Pauper deck with that, or Julie wants to make a Pauper deck with this, so I got 4 of these for 10 cents a piece. I also got this card, Exclusion Ritual. So you're able to exile an on-land permanent for 6 mana, and then your opponent cannot cast cards with the same name. And at first I was like, okay, this is a really expensive card that might be good in Standard. You know, 'cause this is back from New Phyrexia. You know, you basically exile their thing and they can't play any more of this thing. But I realized in Commander this thing is probably amazing to just exile your opponent's commander and then just they can't recast it until they get rid of this. So I'm probably going to be putting this in Heliod. I got me a Harmonize, which is awesome. Sphere of the Suns for the Noob Cube. We got 3 Suture Priest because I really wanted, or sorry, 4 Suture Priest because I really want to make the Pauper Tokens deck that Tolarian Community College talked about, and so I'm on my way for that. And I believe that is it. The rest of this stuff is just, the proxies that I had in the deck previously, for the cards that I bought. But let's get to these pack openings. So, allow me for a bit. Now, let me just get this set up so you guys can see what I got. Okay. So, we got a pack of Khans, we got a pack of Battle for Zendikar, and I understand that Zendikar does not have value in the set. However, I really like the cards from Battle for Zendikar, just personally, just like a lot of the commons on the commons. So I picked one up, but I also picked up a pack of Khans. Seeing as you're probably going to get more value in Khans, I'm going to first open up Battle for Zendikar. If we get an Exposition, let's just get that out of the way. Oh, one thing I have to say, the friend that I went with, he plays some Magic, but he doesn't really follow Magic per se. You know what I'm talking about. So he ended up drafting. He ended up picking up a pack of BFZ, a pack of Dragons of Tarkir, and also a pack of Origins. So he ended up actually getting a Jace Vryn's Prodigy. He's just like, hey Than, should I pick this? Kind of a joke, because he knew it was a Jace. He knew it's, you know, he knows it's good, but he didn't realize how expensive it was. So I told him, like, sleeve, you need to sleeve right now. And so he was actually able to trade that baby Jace Jace Vryn's Prodigy, in for a foil Kiora from the dual decks, as well as an entire fat pack of Dragons of Tarkir. So he's very, very happy. So we got the Night Watch. We got a Swole of Growth. We got a Sure Strike. We've got a Felder Cub. We got another Spell Shoal. Yes. I'm surprised this hasn't seen, like, huge standard play. It's such a fun card. Complete disregard. It's like my deck in here, man. We got a Scour from Existence, which I ended up picking up, but I just found that all my other removal spells were just so much better, so I just did not take that. We got a Tyru Beastmaster, which is one of the cards that was in my opponent's deck who beat me the last round. We got a Wave Wing Elemental. How can I not say that this morning? We got a nice, pretty Evolving Wilds. I really do like this art. We got a Turn Against. Awesome. A Slab Hammer. Awesome. Blighted Cataract. I love these blighted lands. I think they're great in Commander. And my rare is a Conduit of Ruin. Nice. Let's see. 5/5 for 6. Whenever you cast Conduit of Ruin, you may search your library for a colorless creature card with a converted mana cost 7 or greater. Reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. The first creature spell you would cast each of your turns costs 2 less to cast. I could see this in Commander. Maybe not the colorless creature bit, but the 2 less to cast for each first creature. That's not bad. That gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to cast, a creature as well as keep mana open for a spell if you wanted to. And we got a full art Forest, which looks gorgeous, and an Eldrazi Scion. Sweet. So overall, a pretty good pack. Getting some good removal there. I think my first pick would probably be the Conduit of Ruin, just because 6 mana for a 5/5 is good, but also, even if you're not going Eldrazi, it's a good beater, and it makes your stuff cheaper. So, that's what I think about that. Let's crack this guy open. Alright, it's been a while since I've opened a pack of Khans of Tarkir. So, Alpine Grizzly, cool. Alabaster Kirin, cool. Tormenting Voice with Sarkhan on it, not Ugin. Got a good old Naturalize. I like the art on this one. We got a Disdainful Stroke. Good removal. Sidisi's Pet. That's nice. Glacial Stalker. That's pretty alright. Shambling Attendants. Pretty good delve creature. We got a Woodscarred Crag. Forget these are in here. These are just good good lands. We got an Abzan Guide, which is a blowout in draft. We got a Cranial Archive, which is great if you can't afford to get a Elixir of Immortality. Cranial Archive is great in Commander for recursion. Highspire Mantis. Murderous Cut. Oh, this is seeing cube play. This is just a good card to have extras of. Rare is Dragon Style Twins. Double Strike Prowess 3/3 for 5. That's pretty decent. And we got a Plains. And we got a Zambi token. Alright, so nothing huge of value, but we just had a lot of fun drafting. I gotta say, let me actually turn around so you can see my face. Probably. There we go. Now this video is going on 18 minutes, so I don't want to take up too much of your valuable time. I really thank you guys for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. But essentially, yeah, I just had a lot of fun drafting. Let's see, I got some other cool, nifty cards. Oh yeah, my pick 2 was actually a Lantern Scout, because it's so pretty. I never ended up using it, though. But this is the promo I got, and this is Pilgrimage for the draft tonight. And so yeah, I just had a lot of fun. It was me and a friend. There's also 2 brothers there who were new to draft, but not new to Magic. And also we had 2 other guys who were definitely experienced and knew how to play the game, but they were the nicest people ever, and so it was such a fun time drafting. I drafted in Gameland World in Payson, and it was great. Like I said, there are people there who are new, and okay, so there's the new guy, and then there's me, and then there's this other guy, and both of us said the same thing, like, look, hey, if you pass me anything that's really valuable, I will give you a second chance to draft this thing. That's how cool it was. And it was that wonderful environment where the good players were teaching the less experienced players. And the less experienced players were receptive because everybody was being nice about it. They're not just like, oh, you didn't cut my deck, so, everybody was just being super cool. It was super fun. One of the guys I played actually makes wooden deck boxes, and I'm just like, I don't know, just everything is just really, really cool. So it was just a really, really fun night. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, again, don't want to drag this on, But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later.